which is talking about the classification of humans and how we fall under our classification under the whole taxonomy of life thing. So we looked at the tree of life, we looked at how big it can get. Now we're going to focus specifically on humans and our pathway through the whole tree of life. So what is your focus for this chapter is that you guys will be able to define mammals, primates, hominoids, and hominins based on their characteristics. So these are the specific classifications that humans fall under, right? So one way to think about it when it comes to these kind of classifications is think of it almost like that, you know, the thing in maths where you have, professor. You know, in maths, how you have this circle, then you have a smaller circle beside it, right? So you would say that, let's say this is B, and this is A. You'd say that everything in everything in B is part of A, but some parts of B is not shared by some parts of A. So they are separate from each other, but they all fall under the A, right? B is separate from A, but everything in B will share characteristics with A. The same thing with this. So under mammals, there will be also primates, but primates are their own thing, but they do share characteristics with all mammals as well. And then under primates, there's also hominoids. And then under that, we have our hominins. And then specifically, if we keep going deeper and deeper, eventually we'll get to Homo sapiens as we know it, right? So this will make more sense the longer we learn about this. So let's get to it. So first things first, let's talk about Homo sapiens. I also know that these slides are not my usual slides because my slides that I worked on were not saved on. I have to use this one slide, so hope you guys just adjust. So Homo sapiens is our characteristic name, right? Our species name. Homo indicates our genus, right? We are not going to look at the genus level so far. We're going to look at the levels higher than that, which are starting from order, then class, then family, and then only we'll get to genus after that. So today's lesson, we're going to focus on the order, class, and family part. So order, which we fall under mammals. Class, we fall under primates. And for family, we fall under hominoids. Technically, this is super family, but for now, you guys can just leave it as it is. So we're looking at what are the key characteristics that are common between each of these different classifications and what characteristics we share between those different classifications. But remember, we fall under all of them. It's just under each taxon, it gets more and more specific about its characteristic. Think of it like this. If I looked at everyone in this room, let's say everyone has hair. That's something that is in common with mammals, all the mammals, right? They have hair or they have fur, but when you go deeper and deeper, hominoids, there are certain characteristics that only hominoids have, right? That's why they're classified as hominoids. We'll get better to explain as we go through it. Okay, so basically, the further up in the taxon, the further up in the taxonomy of life, the more animals will fit into that taxon, right? If we say kingdom Animalia, that's basically talking about all the animals that exist, they would fall under that kingdom. They share that characteristic, which is that they're made up of animal cells. Okay, next level of classification, we have phylum, chordate, that's talking about any animal with a backbone, a spine, right? That's basically taking all these animals, finding out which ones have a spine, putting them under one group. There are also other phylums that separate those animals into different groups, but this phylum Chordate, which we're part of, is talking about the ones with a spine. So they are separated out like that. Then under that phylum, there's a subphylum known as vertebrates, which classifies a certain number of animals from this group under that classification.
Hi, sir. It's already here.
Oh, she's. Yeah, that reminds me. Oh, but if she attends through a Zoom call, does that count as being here? If she is, then she's part of the Zoom call right now. I don't know how to do this again. Yeah, talk. We have a chat. Hi, I got message. Okay. All right. So under the subgroup of if we go down, we get mammals. So this is the class. So under subphylum vertebrates, if we go looking at a specific group of animals, we have mammals. So we're going to talk about what is it that, what characteristics are we looking at to be able to classify them under mammals, right? So before that, let's just have a better look at how we have the classification that brings us down to Homo sapiens or humans, right? So first, we are going to look at mammals, right? Under mammals, we are specifically grouping up primates. And then after that, if you look at it, how it diverges, these are your basically divergence points, your branches. So even looking at this, you can still relate it back to your phylogenetic tree. You can see that, Homo sapiens and chimpanzees are closely related because their point of divergence from each other is very recent compared to humans and something like orangutans. You can see that their point of divergence from each other is much later, much earlier. That means they are less related to each other compared to chimps and humans, right? So these are kind of questions that they can ask as well. So make sure we are aware. So the things that you guys, the names you have to definitely remember from these are mammals, primates, hominoids. You don't have to remember this specific spelling. You can just remember as hominoids, as it is. And then the hominidae, homini, and then the genus Homo. When we get under the genus Homo, you're going to have all your Homo neanderthals, Homo erectus, and so on. We have to be looking at that as well. But for today, we're going to focus on the huge classifications that brings us to the genus Homo for now. Okay, so first thing we're looking at is mammals, right? Under the classification mammals, what characteristics are we looking at to separate them out as mammals? Is the most important one is that they have mammary glands to produce milk. That's why they're called mammals, because they are basically able to produce milk for their young during the gestation period, during when the young is being raised, they are able to produce milk to feed their young. And also another characteristic is that they have hair or fur on their bodies. So when it comes to knowing the characteristics, you should focus on at least knowing the defining characteristics of that specific classification. And for mammals, the specific trait that's very important to note is that they have the mammary glands to be able to produce milk. They also have a variety of teeth, right? Think about the teeth that you have. You have canines, you have incisors, which are your front teeth. Your canines are the sharp ones. Your molars are at the back that allow you to grind plant material and stuff, right? So mammals, they have a variety of different kind of teeth, but most importantly, make sure you guys are aware of their mammary glands to produce milk. So this is what I mean when I say that they all fall under. So the further down you go, you can see that they're classified and the group becomes smaller and smaller because the number of organisms within that group are becoming lesser and lesser. When we're looking at mammals, there are basically a few thousand mammals that exist, and then we separate it out to see which mammals are considered to be primates, which mammals have the traits to be considered as primates based on the characteristics that make up a primate, and the number of organisms that would go under primate would be lesser than the ones that were in mammals, right? So if you have about 3,000 mammals, maybe 1,000 or less would be a primate. And then we look at other characteristics that they have and separate them based on their family. Hominoids, what traits do they have to become a hominoid? We separate them based on that. That might be from 1,000, we might have a few hundred. And then hominins, we do the same thing. What traits do they need to have to be considered into hominins? And then we make it into a smaller group. So every time we go further down in the taxonomy chain, the number of organisms that will fall under it is going to reduce greatly, right? So the higher you are, the more number of organisms is going to be. So for example, domain, the first classification is eukaryotes, basically eukaryotic life, right? Those that are made up of eukaryotic cells. And we know that eukaryotic cells make up basically all complex life on Earth, except bacteria and archaea. So basically almost all living things except for bacteria and archaea fall under that domain. And then the second one is Animalia, which is all the animals, and then chordate, vertebrate, and then the grouping gets smaller and smaller every time we go further down the classification chain. Right? Like I said, there's about 5,400 species of mammals, and the traits that are found among all of them: mammary glands to produce milk, various amounts of body hair or fur on their bodies. They also have 3 bones in their middle ear. The middle ear is basically a section of your ear between the eardrum and the outer canal. So they have 3 bones in that part. Next is that they have a variety of teeth to support in their digestive process. And then lastly, they have one lower jawbone that is attached directly to the skull to give you a bite. So if all mammals basically have one jaw bone that is detached and will basically allow you to give you a powerful bite as a result. So that's another trait that mammals only have. So these characteristics are what we are using to separate out all the animals in a vertebrate class in a Animalia kingdom as being mammals. Okay, they need to have these characteristics to be considered as mammals. And once we've separated them out, we will go to the next part, which is separating primates out of those mammals, right? So what are the important characteristics we consider as primates? First thing is that they have opposable thumbs on a 5-digit hand, right? So these thumbs that you have, these are an important adaptation that we have. Primates have to be able to hold things, basically have a precision grip and also a strength grip. Being able to hold things is considered as your precision grip because you are able to handle them with fine motor skills, and also being able to grab hold of things. Power grip That's also something that you have better as a result of having a opposable thumbs. Another one that's important is color vision. Okay, all primates will have color vision, basically being able to see the world around us in color, right? Not all animals get to do that. In fact, one example is the one that we were looking at just now, right? Dogs, right? Dogs fall under mammals, but they won't fall under primates because they do not have, first thing, they do not have any opposable thumbs. That's one thing. Second thing, they do not have color vision. So all those reasons and also other reasons make them unsuitable to be considered as primates. So only these animals, for example, can all be considered as primates, right? We got your gorillas, we got your chimpanzees, we got your gibbons, all them falls under primates. Another key characteristic is that they live in social groups. They work together among themselves. Basically, they live in social groups, they cohabitate, they create basically groups of them. And other than that, the other ones you should try to remember as well. Another important one is that they have large brains compared to their body size. This is a characteristic that you can bring down from all the levels. So for primates and also hominoids and also Homo, the genus Homo, the size of the brain will always be a key defining trait because that's one of the things that makes Homo sapiens able to adapt so well to new situations is that we have a large brain to body ratio. Basically, our brain is very big compared to our body size, which allows us to hold more information and remember things better. So the important ones that you guys have need to focus on are the opposable thumbs, being able to grasp things, color vision, live in social groups, and also the large brains compared to body size. Moving on, yeah. So essentially, yeah, that's all the things I'm talking about. Flexible spines, that one we should focus on in the next one. 3D vision, prehensile hands. So the reason, like I said, right, the reason why it's very important for opposable thumbs for primates is that it allows us to do both a precision grip and also a power grip with more strength compared to any other class of animals, right? So think of any other class of animals that don't fall under primates, they are not able to hold on to things as better, right? Monkeys or any primates are able to hold on to branches better because they have the power grip as well. So think about your monkeys that can swing from trees. The reason why they can do that is because they have a power grip which is very strong and can actually be used to jump from tree to tree. And the reason why we can handle things with so much detail is because we have a thumb to oppose our fingers and give us a precision grip. In fact, the ways our fingers evolve are in correlation to the kind of grip we use as well. We don't use a power grip as much, so our fingers have adapted to become more in line with a precision grip. That's why you can see there's a slight difference, right? Between a chimpanzee's hand and a human hand. For a chimpanzee, they're swinging from trees more, so they have longer fingers and a shorter thumb. But compared to humans, we don't swing from trees anymore. We are focusing more on a precision grip. So we have, on average, we have longer thumbs compared to chimpanzees and shorter fingers. Okay? So these are adaptations. No, on average, that's still longer. Yeah. But then another thing also is how feet evolve. This one is more in line with the next level, the family level. Why is it that under primates we still have such a different feet? Is because of what happens when you go deeper into the next level. Basically, we were at primates, now we're looking at hominoids, right? Basically, hominoids is this level, superfamily, but we'll focus more on this level anyway. So just gonna move to the next one. So hominoids, the thing about them that is very distinctive is that first thing, they have unique molars. Okay, basically their back teeth, the way they are shaped is in a Y configuration. Basically, I'll show you a picture, but what it looks like is yeah, basically that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a Y5 shape. Basically, the teeth, their molars are, they have a Y in the center, and there's 5 different sections to it. That's something that's unique specifically to hominoids. So under the primates, which is basically all your monkeys, we separate them out as hominoids. These have specifically no tail, right? They don't, every hominoid does not have a tail. I think about gorillas, orangutans, gibbons, bonobos, humans, chimpanzees, none of them have tails. So that is a key characteristic of hominoids. Another one is the unique molars, larger brain size, like I said, it will carry on forward, and also a more upright posture. They are able to stay upright, but not as much, but they do have a upright posture and also somewhat shorter spines. But the key ones you should focus here is the unique molars, lack of tails, and larger brain size. The larger brain size, you can remember that as being common between primates, hominoids, and even the genus of Homo onwards. Right? So that basically one of the reasons why we can stand up, hominoids can stand upright because the shorter spine supports that. The lack of tail also lets hominoids to be able to sit upright, and our rib cage and pelvis also suit that kind of a suit the sitting upright position. We also typically have longer arms and legs. The shoulder blades generally sit back. Also, the teeth, right? Let me see picture next. Yeah. So this is what I mean by the Y shape. So the teeth are shaped like this, right? So this is the Y5 shape of the molars. These are basically your back teeth. They are shaped with a Y configuration, splitting into 5 different sections. You don't really need to know this or know the numbering or anything like that. Just need to know that this is a distinctive feature of hominoids specifically. Another one is that there is no tail. So this is a primate, this is a hominoid. So all hominoids fall under primates, but not all primates can be hominoids. So basically, what separates out the hominoids from primates is the fact that they do not have a tail. Second thing is that they have more of an upright posture compared to primates that sometimes don't. Next thing is that they have a larger cranium size, basically bigger brains. That is not a common trait for all primates. So for hominoids, they have a larger brain and also something like typically longer arms compared to their legs, and also broader rib cages and shorter spines. Right? So the key ones you should focus on, like the tails, larger brain, and also upright posture and the Y5 pattern on their back molars. And then under hominoids, we will now go into hominins, which is your tribe. I forgot one level. Okay, under the family Hominoids, we have our tribe, which is your Hominins. And this is when we get very close to this, right? Basically, tribe is right before genus. Under the tribe of Hominins, literally only one genus exists, which is the Homo genus. And then we have all our different variations. We have the Homo neanderthals and so on. But so far, just focus on the hominin part. So hominin is not just talking about modern humans, but basically all forms of humans, our relatives as well, with Homo neanderthals and so on. So it's not just about modern humans, it's about all forms of humans that have existed. So what are the characteristics that make that separate out hominins from all the classes of animals? Is first thing, bipedalism. This is a very key trait that not a lot of living things have, is the ability to stand upright with their 2 feet. Bipedalism, right? So think about primates, think about all the monkeys. Some might be able to stand upright for a short duration, but only humans do it for a extended period of time. That's what one of the characteristics that separate us out from the rest of the primates, rest of the hominoids. We can actually stand upright for a very extended period of time. One of the reasons we can do that is because of the other traits that we have, right? An S-shaped spine that helps us able to stand upright. If we had a straight spine, that would actually make it harder for us to stand upright because our spine won't be able to handle the weight of our entire body. The reason having an S-shaped spine helps is that it has a better support to support all the weight. Another one is the bow shape of our pelvis. The shape of our pelvis also helps support our ability to stand on our 2 feet. So if we're looking at a phylogenetic tree of primates and how they separate it out, we have our hominoids, about here, hominid. So they separate out to form into different branches, and around here, your last common ancestor between humans, bonobos, and chimpanzees, they separated out to form the tribe of hominins, and also another tribe to become into bonobos and chimpanzees. So this is the point of divergence, and this is what gave rise to the tribe of hominins. And what is the trait that defines them is the ability to stand upright. Okay, that is the most important one when it comes to hominins, is the ability to stand upright with 2 feet. Okay, so certain things that basically happen as a result of us standing upright with our 2 feet is the first thing, the feet that we have. The feet that we have is more adapted to be able to support us standing up in our 2 feet, right? So the human feet basically lost the ability to have prehensile capabilities. That's why you saw such a difference between a chimpanzee's feet and a human feet. Chimpanzees' feet are able to hold on to things very similarly to how their hands could do. Basically, they have a prehensile capability, but human feet or hominin feet lost that capability. Oh no. What's this about? That's not good. So we lost that capability. Hominins lost that capability, and they are basically having all their toes in line with each other, and they basically also have 2 arches and a wide heel. This is basically making bipedalism more energy efficient and less impactful on the foot. Basically, our ability to walk with our 2 feet needs to be supported by our foot as well and the shape it has. So we lost the ability to grasp onto things, as you can see here that a great ape has. We no longer have that ability. Another thing that we have that hominins gain as a result of being able to stand on two legs is also the angle of the femur. If you see the femur on a great ape versus a human, you can see that on a great ape versus any living things under hominins, you can see that hominins will have a angled femur versus great apes which have a straight femur. The angled femur is like that to be able to better support the weight of the skeleton so that the angle of the femur is directly under the body rather than leaving a space. So that is also another adaptation to be able to support bipedalism. And all these other adaptations basically have a role to play to support bipedalism. Another one is your spine curve. So gorillas or greater apes, they have a spine. We have an X-shaped spine because it allows a better support of the weight on the spine itself. Other than that, all these other things, you should just have a look through them. Try to remember at least a few of them if you are asked in the exam. Okay, so under each classification, there are those defining characteristics that you need to remember. For mammals, that's separating it out from basically all your vertebrates. Okay, we have all your vertebrates. There are few thousand of about 10,000 vertebrates. We separate out about 5,400 mammals from that, based on which animals have a mammary gland, has fur or hair, and we have all our mammals, about 5,300 mammals. Once we've done that, we separate out primates from those mammals based on which ones have a prehensile hand or feet, right? Basically, are able to grab onto things and also have opposable thumbs. We separate that out from mammals, and we have a few thousand of them. Once we've done that, we separate out hominoids from those primates based on which ones have no tail, have a Y shape, molar teeth, and also a large cranium or a large brain. Once we do that, we separate out the hominins from the hominoids based on which ones can actually walk upright with their 2 feet, which ones can actually communicate and form complex social groups, and also they have adaptations as a result of the bipedalism to support it. Basically, stuff like S-shaped spine, broader ribcage, bowl-shaped pelvis, and also the angle of the femur. Okay, you need to be able to remember some of the structural consequences of bipedalism. Basically, what are the changes that our structure experience to better support bipedalism? For example, our feet, our spine, the shape of our spine, our pelvis, the shape of our pelvis, the shape of our rib cage, it's a broader rib cage, also the angle of the femur. Okay, each of them are just are altered to better support bipedalism, and that happened within hominins. And now, once we are at hominins, we'll get under the genus Homo and look at all the cousins that we have in our next topic. And that's about it. Do we have a question? Yeah? You have a question? No. All right, so let's look at the question, shall we? All right, so what is a feature shared by all primates? Primates. What is a feature shared by all primates? Okay, think of a few examples of primates and see what kind of features that they share. Can I get Abi? Fur. Are you sure? That's not really. Sorry? Yeah, mammals. That one is the shared characteristic. What about Yes, opposable thumb with a 5-digit finger. You remember anything else?
Brain.
Larger brain. Larger brain compared to body size. And also, if you can membrane or any other else. Color vision. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So opposable thumbs, enlarged brain, color vision, and also another one you should think of is that they have social structures. Basically, they work in groups, right? They live together, they hunt together, and they basically have these social structures in place. And that starts at a primate level itself and is carried forward all the way until we get to even Homo sapiens, right? Even Homo sapiens, we have the social structures in place, and we can see that in common with basically almost all primates.